Hey, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is yours truly, the Grand Queen, coming at you. Oh, it's been a good one today, anyway. Looks like we got an early peak at spring. Not crazy snow. I mean, I guess we should be thankful for all sorts of all forms of water. I'm just saying. But we finally made it to at least the beginning of spring. It's not official. I'm just wishfully thinking and thanking God that we made it this far through such a crazy winter. It was bananas. And here we are. Happy new month, happy March to everybody. And yeah, and it is Women's History Month. It was Women's International History Day the other day. I believe it was the 8th or the 9th. Um, I also had deemed this Women's Herstory Month, women's not just Women's History Month, but Women's Herstory Month. It's my story, your story. It's our story. You know, we all reflect. Not just reflect, but we are all a part of each other. Yeah, and I just have so much to share with you. So again, this is Women's History Month, and we embrace uh, the challenges and triumphs of as women. Mm, which is always something. It's like having a new handbag. Oh, it's full of something. Um, but for women, for us, I say every day is a historical moment for us because we are the ones who change history. We're not as Bathsheba, where I've been talking about our Queen Bathsheba. She was always deemed as, you know, the negative, always seen as an object. Uh, and women, we're still treated that way as though we're an object. However, when we find out who we are and not what we already know what we are, and our feminine energy and our everything about us is not just a part of life, but we engage life and we help life go on. We help life move and produce, not just produce, but expand and change. So yeah, but as women, the challenges and triumphs that we meet, it changes all the time. And you know, the last show, actually on the pit stop, we talked about the deconstruction of the Bathsheba narrative. You know, the objectivity, the objectification rather that she endured in the power um, structures that distorted her legacy and still trying to distort our legacy. We're here to leave legacies, to make new chapters, to change history, you know, and make new history. That's what it's about. And we talked about Black women and how Black women are misrepresented at a higher rate than any other group stereotypically. You know, it creates low self-esteem and poor mental health outcomes for our Black women. For women, period. I mean, the stats are equally high. Stats are high among each culture of women. However, among 66% of Black girls report negative reactions to stereotypical media images. You know, the media plays a huge role in all of our lives, and we just need to gauge it and be more mindful of what we're watching and the portals that that we are allowing to pour things into our spirit and our headspace. You know, we need to be safe at all times, spiritually safe, mentally sound and safe, physically sound and safe, uh, financially sound and safe, politically sound and safe. The political platform is just out of control these days. But I've never seen uh, so much. You like, Lordy, 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 what now? Um, Also, 1,595 Black women online experience sexual victimization, significant, which lowers significantly lowers self-esteem. So we want to raise the bar, not just during the month of March. We want to raise the bar on a regular. All right. And the digital space amplifies gendered, racial microaggressions, uh, bullying of any kind. So, body shaming, things like that of any kind. So we have to change it as women. We are the ones who communicate these things well, and we help our men to be able to emotionally deal with it. Um, I'm going to talk about something called the firstborn concept. And for women who understand this, and for people, men and women who understand the firstborn concept, they have a lot of responsibility, not just on their, not just personal responsibility. They have a lot of responsibility. Uh, they are actually agents of change. They're actually advocates. They're especially, I have to say women, not especially, but women, there's a particular, uh, there are particular gifts that they rock in, that they play. There's particular gifts that they operate in, and technically it's a mission. They are on a mission. It is like their job. It's like their life's career, as a firstborn, because they take on the things that are missing. They take on all the missing pieces in the family dynamics. They take on all the missing pieces in the community. They take on so many of the missing pieces, not all, but they take on so many of the missing pieces on how people live their lives. They don't tell people what to do, but they're always there helping. However, there's not enough people there to help them uh, feel validated. They should, a lot of times, and they can take the brunt of things now. They could take the brunt of things, man. They could take some stuff that the middle child or the youngest child couldn't possibly take, because the the firstborn or the eldest has been gifted to take the brunt of so many things. The firstborn has been gifted to sort of like to be the substitute of what's missing in the family. Like the dad is missing in action. She takes on. She's not a man, but I mean uh she has the ability to play the role of the dad. She has the ability to play. Can I be a dad physically? We all know that. That's not what I'm saying. So all you little whatever you call yourself, don't get it twisted. I mean, I heard this from an expert, my guy on TikTok. He's called Rated R, and he is a preacher. And we're not talking about religious concepts. We're talking about um, things that actually prove itself. It proves itself in the spirit realm. It proves itself in the natural. It proves itself psychologically, physiologically, and things like that. So, in other words, the firstborn takes on the role of like 10 people. And according to him, the firstborn takes on the role of like 10 men. I mean, that's like saying her testosterone is like to the 10th power. I'm just saying, I'm just paraphrasing. What I'm saying is, as women and the firstborn are integrated, I just popped that in there because that came to mind. Because how is it possible that women can birth a whole human being, not once, not twice, not three, maybe like 30 times? She could have 30 children, be they alive or unalive. That speaks volume. That means that she has the capacity to be that of 10 men when the men are missing, or when things in the family dynamics are missing. So I applaud you, all women, in this Women's History Month. You understand, this is Our story, your story, my story. And this is why I'm here to not just encourage you, but to amplify the fact that we are here for more than a reason. We are here not as an object. We are here because we have objectives to face and challenges to face, and we are and we will be more triumphant in those challenges that we face. Right. And I encourage you that you will. Right. So there's a weight. There's a weight. Like, I'm not talking about waiting for something. I'm talking about now, for Women's History Month, I'm going to just address so many things. However, because of the challenges and 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 the end game, it's about the end game. My women, it's about the end game, my women and our men, because that's the family dynamics, right? So in rural areas, I've talked about what's going on in urban areas, but in rural areas, they face a lot of challenges in rural areas. So the fact of the matter is, how do they handle it? You know, and this is some of the weight that happens, you know, some of the things that women are at risk in rural communities. 21% are likely to experience perinatal depression than those in urban spaces. Why is that? Why is that? Why are 20 that's a lot. Why is it that 21% are more likely to experience perinatal depression? That's not good. What is first of all, it starts in oppression. What's oppressing them that leads them to depression? 21%. That says a lot. That's the weight factor. That's the weight of the matter. Uh, another weight, another weighty issue. Travel barriers. Over 40% of residents in isolated rural areas must travel more than 30 minutes to reach any mental health facility, because we about mental health advocacy, good mental health, compared to 10% of urban residents. Why is that? Well, according to stats for the city, you have 15 minute uh you have 15-minute cities. I'm just paraphrasing. If you live in a city, you're supposed to be within at least 15, 20 minutes of a doctor. You should be able to travel. So those in the city, in other words, there shouldn't be any travel barriers. You may have food deserts, and then you may have travel deserts too, depending on where you live. This is just a general stat. But in the city, 15%, you should be able to travel within 15 to 20 minutes to a doctor, to the supermarket. You know, you should be able to travel 15 to 20 minutes time to meet your basic needs. The 40% of rural residents, namely women, if it takes them 30 minutes to reach a mental health facility compared to 10% of urban residents, and then the stats on how long it might take them even to what's linked to good mental health, being able to go take care of your basic needs, being able to go to the supermarket, being able to go again to your primary doctor, to go to your mental health uh, facilitator. Now, we talked about telehealth the other day as well. Those type mobile. We talked about mobile services. Mobile services are very poor as well. That is a link to perinatal depression. It is one of the variables to perinatal depression. Another barrier is travel barriers, right? So yeah, isolation, travel barriers, depression, oppression, uh, stereotype, being stereotyped, being subjected to objectification, yeah, and more. So here we are. We must advocate for one another and advocate for what? I hear somebody saying, advocate for what? Advocate for more mobile services, the services that can be mobilized to take to the residents. So residents will have to be concerned about getting to the location. The location will come to them in a mobile format. I mean, you got people, they have mobile pet uh, grooming, people, they have mobile meat. I saw a mobile meat truck that passed my house out here in Ulster County. I said, oh snap, a mobile meat truck. Now you know if that could happen, they have mobile Department of Motor Vehicle facilitates people with mobile services. Um, uh, come on, let's advocate for that to change the stats on the travel barrier, to change the stats on digital space, how it amplifies racial microaggressions, to change the weight factor on again on depression. Let's change that. This is why we're here. We are here to change it. And as women, like I said, we sometimes we're like 10 men, and there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody tell you, oh, you just too aggressive, go sit down, shut up. No, you're not. It's not about the aggression, it's where you are placing that aggression. It's where actually so many of us are assertive. What people call aggression is really assertive, being assertively, collectively aware on how to do it and what to do. We're here to be a collective, and many of us are women. I tell you, we know, hmm, we get to it, get through it, we get it done. However, at the same time, be we must also be validated. We must also be seen by one another. It matters. It's not, I'll tell you, I'll share this one last thing with you. This one thing, it's this just right here blew my mind today. I hear so many people talk about unconditional love. Listen to the word unconditional. Technically, as humans, we we most of the time we love people based upon a condition. If it meets our conditions, you know. But technically, unconditional love, when you're dealing with another hue, God's hue, another person, you're actually embracing them not because of their condition. You're embracing them because of who they are and not what they are, which makes it unconditional love, which makes it uh, the way it's supposed to be, because you're actually dealing with that person with all his or her frailties, faults, everything. But you're building, you're building a relationship, and you're validating one another in that relationship, and you see each other, you understand each other, and you know it's going to take some time, you're patient and you work through it. The most important part about unconditional love is validating and value. You see each other as precious, precious. You you actually see each other as, another word, not just precious. Um, you cherish, because that's what I heard from my guy Rated R is his podcast on TikTok. You guys gotta check that out. He's phenomenal. So yeah, um, Rated R in my mind is like it registers. I believe that's what the R symbolizes to me, that things register. So yeah. So in other words, as I'm saying, um, unconditional love. It's valuable. You see the other person as valuable. You see the relationship as valuable, not something that's, for your own. foolish gain, you know, that's something that's trying to turn you into something that you're not and will never be respected for. Uh, that's a part of unconditional love. So take that with you this week and let that marinate because we as women, we are here to share the power of unconditional love and change all these variables on travel barriers, get the weight up off of us, get the weight up off of our people, our communities, get those weights up off uh, the things that's holding us down, right? In urban and rural areas, just in just in the perspective locally and globally, it's it's got to happen. And it can, and it is happening. Maybe we just need to learn to interpret what we are observing, what we are engaged in. I believe we need more interpretation. I believe we need more clarity on what we're doing so that we can become stronger and reinforce the power of unconditional love and reinforce our powers, our feminine energies as women with our men. And we will also have good relationships with our men, with our brothers, our uncles, our fathers, our spouses. We will have good relations with the spouse, not the corpses. There's a whole bunch of corpse relationships we've had. And somebody's like, corpse? Hey, who's having a relationship with corpse? Yes, we're talking about a corpse is a man or a woman that has not seen you as valuable. They're only in a relationship to use you, to abuse you for their own selfish gain. They have no plans to be into you because of who you are. They're only planning to be into you because of what you are. And that makes you an object. That makes you an object. That makes you objectified in 150 degrees Fahrenheit. That makes you like God, like their rug every day. You must be valued. It is time for us as women and men to leave these corpses where they're at. Dead men walking, dead women walking on a regular. You just don't know they dead until you get into that relationship. A dead person can't feel anything, can't hear anything. An unalive person, because I don't know, I'm on the media, they don't like you use that word, but guess what? Unalive person, a corpse. Let me just put it like that, a corpse. A corpse has no feelings, has no heart, no mind. And that is like a relationship. It has no intentions of growth or development because of that other person's heart and mindset. So this is why there's so many, this is why the rate of divorce, the rate of domestic violence, the rate of uh, PTSD, the rate of there's something called domestic violence partner. I believe it's partner domestic violence, PDV, partner domestic violence, because the partner is the implements the violence because it could be sexual, it could be it's most of the time always manipulative. Not most of the time, it is always manipulative in something, and that's a corpse. That's a corpse. You'll be the one spouse or the one partner doing everything while that corpse is relying on you to do everything. He or she will never engage to to complete anything that you are doing with somebody. The two of you are doing it to start and complete, but that person will never make anything look or feel or sound complete in your life. Never. And then you wonder why you are exhausted. And this happens a lot to firstborn. I'm just saying, I'm gonna leave that with you right now. So yeah, so This is the Grand Queen coming at you. This is the Just Stop It Show. Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon to all my lovelies, to all the queens, all the Bathshebas, all of the Herstory women. You are phenomenal. You are phenomenal. And I just want to ask a question before I get up out of here. What would this is a serious question because we've been exploring what I've talked about tonight technically is on the Just Stop It show tonight is the exploration of the geography of grace, how rural women carry and the power of grace, how we carry the weight and power of grace. What would happen if I stopped paying for things I didn't break? What happened to you if you stopped paying for things you didn't break? It's like I said about a corpse earlier, my women. This is Women's History Month. This is Women's Her Story. What would happen if we stopped carrying? What would happen if we stopped paying for things that we didn't break? You got some stuff going on in your life right now that's so overwhelming, and you're like, when am I gonna stop paying for that? And why am I paying for it? Why did you start paying for it from the gate? Check it out. You are better than that. And it's time for you to meet the new you, babies. Hey, uh-huh. So again, this is please go to J Tire Form 1, leave some comments, some vital information. What would you do if you stopped if paying for things that you didn't break? What would you do to change the travel barrier? What would you do to change the risk factors of women in communities that the 21% that's experiencing perinatal depression? What do you do about people who are actually experiencing perinatal depression and also perimenopause? I'm just popping all those things that are at risk right now in urban and rural communities, but more so in rural communities. What would you do? What would you do about the things that's happening in the digital space? Right? What can we do to change the stats on the negative reactions and the stereotypes uh, that our Black girls are having? Why are they so aggressive? Why are they so super aggressive? Right? So what happens to teaching about assertion, being assertive, and putting and having tools in place to prove those assertions? So it's not enough to be aggressive because sometimes when you're aggressive, you're proving absolutely nothing, a bunch of nothing. And he or she or the group that's you're trying to prove that to, that's all on deaf ear. They're like, you ain't nothing. Like, I mean, like, please, especially if you're dealing with a an aggressive when if you're dealing with a violent partner, a violent spouse or partner, a violent wife. And women, again, we need to understand our feminine energy. People use the word feminine wiles. No, our feminine energy, our feminine position, where we are positioned in life. What not just our role, because it's not about gender. We're talking about what is our position, our mission, our vocation in this world, not of this world, because we're not of this world. I'm talking about the the legal stuff. I mean, yeah, we need legalization. We need legal, I have to say legal tools. We do need those things, but it's not like the core of our operation here as women. So just want to just to just continue to share awareness on how women are operating in rural areas and how women are operating in urban areas. Now we can come together, rural and urban, and get to it and help change the stats on these things. And because the numbers don't lie. However, we can change those numbers because that's what we're here for ourselves and become more valuable. We must, helping me helps me to help you. Also, being seen, being heard helps me to help you, and vice versa. This is how God made us. So yeah, so come on back on Monday, and please also go to TikTok. I am on TikTok, right? Go to TikTok. Wow, I just need a little water. Again, go to J Tire Forum 1 at YouTube, and please share and leave some uh, information that we can go on. Also, go to juststopitms.com and leave some valuable information. And again, uh, I'm at TikTok. My page is actually, again, I'm at TikTok, Just Us at TikTok. Um, Also, yeah, I wanted to share, I will be sharing with you my new page. I'm just trying to work on some stuff. Um, with, I have to say, on X, Twitter, it used to be Twitter. But on TikTok, let me just stop playing. I am Grand Queen. I am Grand Queen at TikTok, of course, right? So again, this is yours truly, the Grand Queen coming at you. So please, what would you do? What would you do? Right? What would you do? You remember this. Take this with you for the week, right? Take this with you for the week. Uh, Take again, what would you do if you had to stop paying for things you didn't break, right? It's time for you to stop paying for stuff you didn't break. In other words, when people come to you, especially in a relationship, you're not there to fix them. They should come being fixed already. They should come bringing whatever is necessary to the table. They should come bearing gifts of love, joy, and a sound mind. That's equally important. And understanding leadership and to lead with you. And as firstborn, that's an I'm gonna leave that alone because that right there is wearing me out. Firstborn, you guys check it out. Check out I said this pastor, this bishop, he is called, I believe, Rated R on TikTok. But again, you'll also see me on TikTok as Grand Queen. Love you much. I love you as God does. Right? So peace, joy, and love until Monday at the pit stop, our mental health check-in, where you can just come on through and it's a free, safe space, no judgment. However, it's a clean space. You just come and just pass through, hang out, say what you need to say, do what you need to do pertaining to just want to air your brain out. And I'm a good listener. Just need you to say something. Sometimes all it takes is one good word or one moment. Sometimes all it takes is for us to just be in the moment. And in comes what? Healing and the tools to heal, right? Love you much again, and all those who have been with me throughout this past, 3 years, I believe it is, with the Just Stop It show and the pit stop. Much love to you. Much love uh, to all the new subscribers as well. I appreciate you. All my veteran subscribers as well. Come through, like, subscribe, share, share. Click on that share button. Click on that subscribe button. Pop in some, not just comments. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing if it's not promoting life. Even if it's a good joke, I want to hear a good joke too. Hello. I love a good joke, because that's healing. That's another tool. Humor is healing. It is healing. Just keep it clean. Don't be mean. I'm just saying, peace, love, and joy. And again, check out what would you do? Stop paying for other people's nonsense. That's not what you're here to do. Stop paying for those things that you did not break. Much love. Um,